Rick and Sue from Bike Fitness Coaching, and just wanted to share with you a little trip we made down to Southern California recently.
Yep, it was a great opportunity to practice what we do best, to interact with other cyclists and to ride some great rides.
In 2 days, we did 6 fits. In general, we'll go through a little bit of detail about how each one went, but in general, most of the people, after we got done fitting them, they were about in the 75 to 77 degree knee flexion. And that's telling me that exactly most of them had long legs and shorter torso. Most of them needed shorter stems, as well as saddle changes. Day one, what were the bikes, Sue?
The bicycles were
Cervelo,
I can't even read your notes.
Cervelo Gravel. Second bike was a Bianchi. The third bike was a Canyon. So the first guy came in. He was a walk-in. The scheduled had a medical problem. I don't know if he crashed or whatever, but he canceled right away. We had a walk-in from another bike shop that recommended. He found out that we were going to be in Southern California and to go see Rick. So he was new to cycling. He was way too low in the saddle, complaining of knee pain, back pain, and he had no power going on the underpasses and then coming back up the other side on bike trails. He could barely get up and over the little rise in the road. We had to raise his saddle about, in fact, we rose his saddle a little bit more than 3 centimeters. And as well as he also needed a 70 stem. He had a 90 and he was really reaching too far, straight arming like this. He had a little bit of pain in the shoulders. He was riding like this. And that's what we normally see. If you're riding further forward, it looks too long, the shoulders go up, tremendous neck pain and pain in the trapezius. We got him sorted out. He was happy, big smile on his face. He rode on his test ride. He rode to the bank, got some cash and came back. So that was the first fit. Second fit was a Bianchi.
Right. And he had a new bicycle and he wanted it to be duplicated like his previous bicycle.
Yeah, he was. I fit him before several years ago on an old bike, and now with the new stuff, meaning disc brakes, everything's hydraulic now. He could not get any spare parts for the old rim brake bicycle, so he bought a bicycle, another Bianchi, the same size, and he duplicated it as much as he could. But he forgot one thing.
I forget what that was.
It was the saddle. His saddle was a 138, and on the new bike, the old bike, it was a 155. He duplicated everything perfect except the saddle width. So he started riding the new bike, and what had happened is he started sitting. He started having pain in the perineum area. He started crushing his pudendal nerve and artery. And he started sitting to the side subconsciously to get away from the pain. And that caused even more problems. He eventually had to go to an MD, his urologist. They sent him to a PT. And about 3.5 months later, he is now riding on the new bike. But he calls and says, hey, I need you to come down and fit us. I don't want to go back through that problem again. So basically, put a 155 saddle on. We got his hoods recentered. He had one shifter down a little bit, so he was kind of leaning that direction. And he had a little bit of shoulder pain and still lower back pain. We got him sorted back out again. He was sitting straight level across the back when he got done with the fit. Another happy customer. And number 3, this was the most exciting one. He bought a Canyon. And basically had a problem with the frame. The frame had to be returned, and the bike shop who put it together for him put everything back together. They kept the old fork. Canyon said, we'll replace the frame, but we won't replace the fork. He rode the bike, he started having some back pain. He was riding again to the side. We measured him. He had a slight LLD, leg length discrepancy. So we put some shims in his foot, got him recentered. As we were tightening, we wanted to basically move the bars a little bit. He had the bars rotated too far down this way. We want to rotate them up a little bit. I noticed that the headset was loose. I always want to do a little safety check after we do the bike fit. I grabbed the front brake, kind of put my weight on the saddle, and I got a clunk, clunk, clunk. I could feel the headset moving. I went to drop my Allen wrench in, my 6mm or 5mm, to see which would fit. It dropped all the way down. They forgot to put the bolt in. So the whole headset, the whole front end of the bike was held together by a little tiny Canyon set screw. Pretty dangerous. We probably saved his life. Told him don't ride it. Go back to the shop and have him put that bolt in, that pinch bolt that tightens up the whole headset. So it was loose and you could not get it tightened. And yeah, we did. We probably saved the guy's life. I would hate to have him go downhill about 55 miles an hour and the handlebars come off. That you don't want that to happen.
That's a bit surprising.
So the next that was Monday. That following that Wednesday, we were called back in. We had 3 bike fits: Moots titanium bike, a specialized Athos, and a brand new out of the box Creo, specialized Creo. So the Moose guy was an old friend of mine. He had never been fit on a bike, and he was getting older and starting having all kinds of little issues. He also had an LLD. We basically got him sorted out completely. We had to do a lot of work. He had sit bone width of 100mm, but we had to basically get a different saddle. He had a saddle that was, I think it was a Shimano, one of their thinner saddles that really didn't fit him well. Put him on a 143 power saddle and solved a lot of his problems right there. We did a cleat fit. We put yellow cleats instead of blue. He had some worn out blue cleats. Basically, he got them all sorted out, and we recommended he get a shorter stem, which he was going to go back to the other bike shop he came from and get a shorter stem. Specialized Athos was the second fit, a good friend of ours. So we had a kind of a wide range of clients. We had people that were in the industry, customer service. A couple of these people were customer service from different companies. The Specialized Athos was a pediatric cardiac surgeon. So talk about kind of a wide range of backgrounds. 52cm frame. He had the 155 power on his saddle, 170 cranks. He was able to absorb the cranks. But again, he couldn't reach the stem, the bars comfortably. They kept pulling him forward in the saddle out of position. So recommended a 70 stem. He was going to work with the bike shop when they reopened the next day to get a 70 stem put on his bike instead of the 90. Saddle adjustment, we fit his cleats. Everything else was okay. Yep. He was happy with that. And the last guy came, it was already getting dark. We were sitting outside in basically a tent with our bike fit stuff set up. And it was a brand new Creo, out of the box Creo, 58cm, pretty tall guy, about 6'3" or so. Yeah, it was pretty good size. And we did what?
What we did is he had or got a 155 power saddle.
He took the 143 off.
Yep.
Put a 155 on.
And it made sense. I mean, he was not a small rider. And he had.
We noticed that the shoe rub was slightly on his right.
He did have a part of his shoe in the back was starting to become shiny.
His heels were like this. So
yeah,
as he was pedaling, he was hitting rub the crank arm. So he was going to work with that bike shop we were at to get the Shimano +4 pedals with the pedal washer, and that will get him sorted out. So that was a very successful trip down. When we came down on a Saturday, that was a Monday and a Wednesday. The Saturday there, we did a couple quick, well, not quick rides. We So basically, if you are interested in doing any rides in the Southern California area, we recommend on a Saturday. There are 2 rides in San Diego. Orange County seems to have their big ride on Sunday. The 2 in San Diego are the San Diego Bike Club ride. If you go in the summertime, I've been on those rides before. There could be up to 500 people on rides. But what they do, they have an A group, B, C, D1, D2, D3, D4. They got 7 different groups. The A, B, C, and D1 are the same route, but different speeds. The A is about a 22 mile an hour. The D is about 17, 16, 17. So you can kind of grade the D2, 3, and 4 are more typical development riders for people that aren't comfortable riding in or haven't ridden in big, larger groups. They teach you how to do that and ride comfortably. Another one was practicing pace lining, and another one was more climbing than flat. So you kind of can get what you pick, what you want to do as a typical ride. That Sunday, we decided to do the other big ride, but it was the day before. We did Swami's Reverse. Swami's, we went out El Camino Real, which is, I guess, PCH basically. Went up Del Dios. It's how many miles? About 5 or 6 mile climb at about 6% grade. Gets up into Elfin Forest. Quick ride through the Rollies, back down. It's about a 42-mile ride. On Saturdays, if you want to go with the A group, it's about I think when I did it last time, it was about a 25-mile-an-hour average, including the warm-up. So that's pretty fast. The B group is about a 21 average. So there's a couple of good rides in San Diego to pick. Let's see, Tuesday, between the 2 bike fits, we went back into Orange County and did the Como Street ride. We did the Como Street, their Sunday ride, but on a Tuesday, and went up through Santiago Canyon, came down. There is a Como Street long and a Como Street short. So with the short is about 36 miles, I think. The long's about 45. So we had a lot of fun doing the different rides. And Sue, what was your experience first time really riding in California? The road conditions versus what you're used to?
So my favorite ride of the 3 was the Como Street ride, which went further out into the non-traffic areas. There were some long climbs back there, but the scenery was in more of the mountains and the valleys and gorge area. So I really liked that. My second favorite was the Reverse Swamis. It had some really steep short climbs, and so it was more punchy. It had more cars. The road quality was not as good. And there were lots of blind turns on some pretty steep roads.
And red lights.
Red lights. I always hit the red lights. I'm not used to and do not like to run red lights. But apparently that's something that some of these group rides actually do.
And stop signs.
So it took a while for me to get used to that idea. The first ride, I have to say, in the San Diego area, I wanted to do the easier group ride. And I think there was some value in that because we were able to talk to and meet some of the riders. And it turned out that one of the riders was very much involved in scientific research in an area that I actually worked in. So she was surprised that we were there and what I was doing and what I'd done. And she invited Rick and I to visit the Salk Institute, which was along the route that we actually rode in San Diego.
Going back Torrey Pines grade.
Yep. And visiting the Salk Institute was pretty amazing. So I enjoyed that quite a lot. And she now follows us on Strava, which is also interesting. So she is very much a beginner rider, but I know that Rick made a difference to these riders. I talked to them the whole way.
It was fun. And now the last thing, I guess I share the screen here. Do this is Sue's bike. Wait till there it is. Will come up. Sue, tell them a little about your bike. About your bike. This is the bike we took with us.
Yeah, this is actually a Specialized Ethos Pro. It is identical to the bike that the one rider came in for the fit for. In fact, his bike was brand new out of the box, pretty much like mine. And so that was pretty exciting.
And some of the changes that you did.
The changes we made to my bike were we put on a 155 power Mimic saddle. We shortened the stem. We shortened the crank arms. So the bike came with 170 millimeter crank arms.
Who puts 170s on a 52 centimeter?
Specialized, the guys that manufacture the bike. They are completely committed to this. You can't get a shorter crank arm until you buy a 148, and then they'll give you a 165, which is still too long. But so the crank arm I put on mine is a 150, and it's sold by Croder, and it's awesome. So this bicycle is very responsive, it's stiff, and it's a great bike for riding fast and climbing hills.
Yeah, you're much faster on that bike than on the other older Trek. Yeah, it's a good bike. It's kind of like the old Amanda, basically. And here is the bike I took. This is a S-Works SL6 tarmac. Basically, all the new stuff on it. All of the old stuff I have in the shop is the old Di2 11-speed, and I'm saving that for a couple of the other bikes that are Di2 in case a part breaks. You just can't get that stuff anymore. Rode this one pretty hard up the standing up the canyons and some of the rollies through Orange County. I went with the rotor carbon all-do crank instead of, so there was no, basically I got the frame and fork. And if you are looking for something that's cost competitive and still a upper end bike, there's a few shops or a few web stores, the Pro's Closet, Bicycle Blue Book, Elevate, I think Cycling, they sell certified older bikes with there's no problem. I was concerned because there's so many fake S-Works out there. I called them. It was I think the Pro's Closet I got this one from. They verified that it was a real S-Works. I contacted Specialized, told them the serial number. It turned out that the previous owner had not relinquished the ownership, so I had Specialized. I'm now the warranted owner of the bike. The only drawback on this bike is when you're riding it regular speeds, it's just like a regular bicycle. It doesn't really come alive until you put about 310 watts into the bike. Then it just comes alive like you can't believe. Responsive, it just takes every pedal stroke. There's no bottom bracket flexing. Just kind of settles in and you're just hammering about 300, 350 watts. That's when the bike comes alive. If you aren't doing that type of riding, the standard Specialized tarmac would be a lot more cost competitive and a lot better for that for your wallet, basically. But I like the bike. Rides really nice. Sue's bike, she rides a lot faster, a lot better on the new bike. So that was our little trip to Orange County and San Diego County. We had fun. We did some fits, got some people sorted out on their bikes, and hope to do it again.